Hi everyone, welcome to the Bio Edge.
The steenbok is a small antelope in the family Bovidae that lives in southern and eastern Africa, and it weighs around 10 kilograms. Now, the steenbok is not the only diminutive species of ruminant in the world. There's a wide variety of diminutive ruminants, which we can call bambis for the sake of a concise scientific name in the English language. And these bambis include some deer in the Americas, musk deer in Eurasia, chevrotains in Africa and Southeast Asia, and various lineages of bovids, including duikers and small relatives of gazelles in Africa. And if one lives in southern Africa and is accustomed to the steenbok, which is actually still quite a common animal in many parts of South Africa, even in farmed landscapes, it's easy to become complacent and to take this animal for granted as just another buck, just another of the many antelopes that grace the African landscape. But when you think about it, the steenbok is a unique animal because not only is it diminutive, not only is it a bambi, but it's the only bambi worldwide that manages to live year-round in flat, arid landscapes, such as the Kalahari and the edge of the Namib Desert, with what appears to be very little shelter. Now, it seems obvious that a small antelope, a bambi, should be particularly dependent on shelter, and so it comes as no surprise that, for example, many species of bambis, such as the duikers in Central Africa and the pudu deer in South America, are restricted to thickets and rainforests. But it's more surprising when a bambi, with all its apparent vulnerability, a really delicate, appealing animal that seems to be very sensitive and easy to harm, when this kind of animal manages to live year-round at the edge of the desert in southern Africa. There are also some semi-desert dwelling bambis in the eastern African arid zone in and near Somalia and Somaliland on the Horn of Africa. But the difference is that those species, such as the Beira and the Dik-Diks, do depend on stony and often rocky terrain. It's not the case that in the Horn of Africa there's any replacement for the steenbok in the sense of a bambi living right out in the open without any apparent shelter. So the question is, if the steenbok is at the bio edge, as it were, as the only bambi that has managed to penetrate deserts, then what is its secret? What is it about the southern African desert fringe that allows a bambi to live there? And thinking about that here at the bio edge, what we've realized is that there are two environmental factors that set the southern African deserts apart from deserts elsewhere. The first is that there are many species of geophytes at the edge of South African deserts, and geophytes are herbaceous plants with underground storage organs, mainly corms and bulbs. And because of this extraordinary presence of geophytes in the Kalahari and at the edge of the Namib, a bambi such as the steenbok can have a year-round supply of moist food as long as it can dig for tubers. Now, it may seem unlikely that such a spindly-legged, small-hoofed, cursorial animal as the steenbok, which is built like a small gazelle, should be able to dig, but dig the steenbok does, and it digs extremely capably. In fact, it's probably one of the best diggers of all of the ruminants worldwide, and it can dig more than 10 centimeters down into the sand and extract these tubers which presumably helps it to live without any access to drinking water year-round, even at the edge of the Namib. Now, the second factor that sets this environment apart and helps to make it conducive to the survival of a bambi is that the southern African semi-desert fringe has an unusual abundance and diversity of powerful burrowing mammals, of which the most important is the aardvark, the termite and ant-eating member of the tubulidentata. And because the aardvark is common even in semi-arid landscapes in Africa, there is a lot of opportunity for a bambi to find abandoned burrows of various depths in which it can take shelter in various circumstances. Now, the steenbok is unusual for a ruminant in having a partly underground existence. Again, you wouldn't expect this for such a cursorial gazelle-like animal, but it has this underground dimension. And it resorts to ducking down aardvark and other burrows to take shelter from the sun, reducing its need for water, giving birth and suckling its young, and also probably when chased by predators. And so there's 3 different occasions in which the steenbok has a partly underground existence, in addition to the underground dimension of its diet. And so what we're suggesting here at the BioEdge is that the apparent paradox of one of the most delicate looking and cursorial of all mammals, the steenbok, living in this apparently inimical environment of the desert fringe, can be explained by an underground dimension, which in turn is only there for it because of the fortuitous availability of tubers in these particular deserts, and the fortuitous presence of some of the world's most powerful digging mammals. And with that thought, we'll look forward to seeing you next time for another item here at the BioEdge. Bye.